Degrassi, Over the Rainbow Part 1. My day back at Degrassi was weird. Simpson took away the uniforms. Drew and his fiancée broke up. The court session with Owen didn't go too well. He was claiming that he didn't do a thing. He didn't do a thing to me. And since there was no evidence, besides the bruises on my thighs that I refused to show, he wasn't charged. I felt so bad for everything. After court, I stood there. Mrs. Torres walked up to me. After court, I stood there. Mrs. Torres walked up to me. I still have the bruises, I told her, fixing my jeans in an awkward fashion. Well, why didn't you show them? I still have a lot of bruises from a lot of things. Do you expect them to believe it was just from him? She sighed. I already look crazy doing this. You're not, she said. I look over at Owen, who shook his head with a smirk on his face. Adam mumbled something under his breath. What, Adam? He shook his head. I'm gonna go to sleep now. And you're going to wake up, Adam said. I hate when people think I'm being suicidal. Yeah, I'm fine. I'm a little down, but I need to sleep it off before it goes into something worse. I'll drop you off, Mrs. Torres said. I nodded. When we got back to my house, Adam said he would stay to make sure I was okay. I lied in my bed and he sat in a chair. I was on face rage. Doing better? He said. I'm gonna get bullied like crazy tomorrow in school. I'll be here for you if you need me. Adam? I sat up. Yes? What did you do when you were bullied? The same thing you did. I hurt myself. I nodded and looked down. I didn't want Adam to hurt anymore. I got up and hugged him. You want something? Can you go to the dot and buy me some ice cream? He nodded and kissed my cheek and left. I lied back down and stared at the wall, wanting to fall asleep. It's just going to get worse, I hear a voice say. I knew no one was around, so I didn't bother looking around. Then someone sat on my bed. Then someone sat on the end of my bed. Did you say something, Ollie? I asked. No, I just came in. He crawled up next to me in my bed and wrapped his arms around me. My boyfriend's going to be back real soon. I don't care. You seem hurt. I sort of am. Why? He kissed my cheek. Some guy hurt me. He started to kiss my neck. Then he whispered in my head. Then he whispered in my ear, was it your fault again? I started to cry, and I let the tears fall down, and nodded. Yes, it is. It is. You're right. Yes, it is. It is. It is always your fault, right? I kept nodding. He moved his hands along the side of my body. I turned to face him. Shh, he said. I just laid there still, not doing anything. Then he kissed me. Adam would be back soon, and he'd do something about him. He started to take off my shirt and unbutton my blue jeans. I started to shake as he kept stroking my hair. He sat up and said, one of these days you'll be mine, he said, and licked his lips. Seductively. I heard him call me a name. I'm not sure what it was, but still, it hurt. I wish I hadn't thrown away my precious stuff. I I run over to the garbage can. Yes, they hadn't taken out the garbage yet. I reach in and take out my knife. I didn't want to do it, but the voices kept telling me to do it. It would help make the pain go away. I took out my knife and stabbed it right in my arm. Not too deep, but deep enough. And I did again and again and again. And then on the other side. And sat down. I looked out the window as the blood runs red. There was a creak. Meg? It was a female's voice. I had no energy to look to see who it was. Meg, you alright? It's me, Bianca. I blinked. What does she want? I heard footsteps walking towards me. Meg, Adam is on the way. Back here. Okay? I know you're not happy that it's me, but I wanted to see if you're okay. Meg? Meg! She looked over my shoulder. I moved my eyes to look at her. She gasped and covered her mouth with her hands. She reached in her purse and took out a string and a needle. You're going to be okay, she said. She took my arms and began to stitch them up. I had no clue she knew how to do that. But she did, and she was doing it correctly. When she was done, she carried me to my bed and laid me down and covered me up. Then I fell asleep. When I woke up, I see Adam sitting in a chair next to me. I thought you said you'd stop. I said I would when I was away. I'm not away, so I didn't. He just looked down at me. I felt dizzy and weak. I'm sorry, I say. Why? He said. The voices, the urges, I guess. You guess? I know. Bianca wants you to text her. Why? I don't know. You should. She's nice. Well, she can be. What if she doesn't like me? She already does. I looked at him. I took out my phone and found she wrote her number down next to me. I put it in my contacts and said, "Hey." She replied saying, "Who is this?" "Meg," I responded. "Oh, come over to my place. We need to talk." "What?" "We need to talk." "Why?" "I care. About you." Okay. I told that Adam Bianca wanted me to come over. He nodded and said he would talk to me later. Bianca comes and picks me up. We sit in her car. She looks out the windshield. Then looks at me. "So why?" she asks. "What? Why do you hurt yourself?" I looked at her. She was crazy. "Why do you want to know?" "I told you I care." I sat there and stared out the window. I sighed. I didn't trust her, but she seemed like she wouldn't leave me alone. I told her everything from my dad, to the guys, to the pain, everything. Like I told Adam. When I was done, all she was doing was crying. "Why are you crying?" I asked her. "You know, you're not alone." "I feel as if I am." Maybe if you surround yourself with people who's been through things, you wouldn't. I'm assuming you had a fair share of life. She nodded and wiped her tears. You stay away from Ollie, okay? Come here," she said, opening her arms. I slowly made my way into them and slowly put my head on her shoulder. "It's gonna be okay," she said as she held me tight. "One day you'll be happy again. One day everything will be alright." I started to cry on her shoulder because, out of everything, I wanted it to be okay. I wanted to be happy.